All right, guys, we're good for Derek.
Derek, just another day where the lone bull bitch. It's sort of been a issue for Brubaker lately, specifically. Was today just a couple mistakes that just got hit by really hot hitters.
Yeah, well, obviously they're hot, and I think we need to get out of this ballpark. But yeah, he made just a few mistakes, and the mistakes he made, they capitalized and hit all three of them for home runs. And it's challenging when mistakes aren't fouled off or they're not hit for singles. Today they hit them for homers.
Shelty, what sort of lessons can you take from this? I mean, I know you guys want to get the heck home, but you'll probably try to take something away from it. Is it just missed spots in key locations, or is there anything more to it?
Yeah, I mean, missed spots. I mean, the first homer that Riley hit was just a slider that didn't slide. The second one he hit, from seeing the replay on the board, I didn't think it was a terrible pitch that he hit out away. And then, another slider to Dansby that wasn't a very good pitch. But yeah, I think the learning lesson, and we talk about those a lot, is if you do not execute good pitches to a lineup that is good like this, then you're going to pay for it. And we paid for it this series.
Shelty, speaking of the mistakes, Will Craig kind of botched a grounder that could have ended the inning, and then Brubaker hit from the back. Those both preceded the home runs. How much did those play into it as much as the missed pitches on the homers themselves?
Well, yeah, I mean, they play into it because what happens, the next hitter on Will's ball, I mean, Will's good at first. I mean, as you guys have seen, he won a Gold Glove in AAA a couple years ago. I don't know what happened on that ball. He kind of got caught in between. I think he should have backhanded it, even though it was in his body. And then for some reason, and I think it's just the way things are going for us right now, not only did he knock it down, but he knocked it and it kicked. So we weren't able to do it. And then the Albies thing, we thought we had a swing on it. We didn't get it, and that proceeded to be a homer. So because of when they happen, yeah, they really stand out.
Shelty, it was another game where you guys kind of provided pressure offensively in the first inning, but then just couldn't get the hits going. Do you feel like the guys were kind of pressured or looked like they were pressing based on the early deficit, not trying to get things to spiral out of control like a couple of the games?
Yeah, I think when you get down in games, you do put a little bit more pressure on yourself. I think today, his fastball was really good, and we didn't make the adjustment to get on it. And I think that's why you saw, weak contact, and you saw foul balls to the offside.
Shelty, with those first inning runs, I mean, it's not a small sample anymore. Are you noticing anything that you want to work on or have done differently at this point?
Yeah, I think it comes down to execution, Jay. I mean, we have not executed as well in the first inning, and it's something that we have to continue to look at of why that is, and if we do something different in our prep, if we do something different coming into the game. But it's something that we have to minimize.
Eric mentioned, hey, just want to get out of the ballpark. Is that sort of the message you give to the guys right now? Look, just control, alt, delete on the last 3 days, and let's reboot when we get back after a day off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very technical savvy, but control, alt, delete's probably a good one for this one. Go home, have the off day, and then go after the Cubs.
Derek, is there any way to get some of Frazier's hits to translate to more runs? The guy's hitting 380 this month, and he's got 4 RBIs. Is there any way to sort of maximize on what he's doing in terms of putting runs on the board?
Yeah, I mean, we have to do a better job at the bottom of the order getting on for him. I mean, he's hitting leadoff, and we're not going to move him out of the leadoff spot. He's been so good there, but the bottom of our order has to do a better job of allowing run scoring opportunities for him.
Derek, the guys that you've had for 2 years now, or middle of the second year with, how do you find they are at that sort of rebooting aspect? Are they good about flushing the bad stuff away and responding quick after 24 hours to process?
Yeah, I think this group, the group of guys that we've had here for 2 years do a pretty good job of that. I think it's part of the culture that we're creating in terms of just moving on to the next day. I think, like we've talked about a lot, if we see lack of effort, then we have an issue, but these guys do a pretty good job of flushing.
This Braves team, I think they set a record for hitting the most home runs in a series. They had 4 different guys who hit multiple home runs against you this 4-game stretch. How hard is it to try to avoid? It's not like you can avoid up and down the order.
No, I mean, there's a couple things. This lineup's really good. This lineup's really hot, and this ballpark's conducive to if you hit the ball in the air, it's going to get out of here. And they are taking full advantage of that. And, where we caught them at a time where they're swinging the bats well. I mean, I think coming into the series, they were leading the league in homers. So it's one of those things that it's how their offense is built. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we are good for JT.
JT, just another day where a couple got out on you. We talked before that sometimes that's just a mistake. Is that what happened here today? Just a couple mistakes.
Yeah, slider to Riley, just up a tick. I mean, got it to the outer half, just up a tick. He was able to pull it out. One to Swanson, he just kept his hands back. I thought it was a pretty good pitch down and away. Kept his hands back. And then fastball to Riley just creeped out. So, I mean, they're hitting a lot of home runs this year. I think that's what their game plan is to lift the ball, especially in this ballpark. Honestly, I've never really seen a ball fly the way it has here. I'm sure I'll be even more surprised once we go to Coors, but yeah, ball flies here. That's what they're trying to do.
JT, I know you've probably had the fewest of these allowed, but it happened today. The first inning hasn't been good for you guys. Any idea why that might be and why that trend has held this season?
I think it's just teams are coming out and ambushing. I felt that way. I mean, that was one reason I started Acuna off with the first pitch slider. Just trying to get ambush, weak contact, thinking that there's a fastball coming. But I think that's the main answer right there, just early ambush.
So I caught your expression to that catch by Brian Reynolds in center. He was shaded over to the left and still made that catch somehow. I was curious what was going through your mind when you saw that, and the job that he's done in center field since he's had to move there after other people were starting earlier in the season.
That was an amazing catch. First reaction was I didn't know where the ball was. It kind of like just disappeared. It wasn't like a for sure thing of seeing it go in the glove. I'm like, did he roll up on it? And then he stood up and threw it in. So that was amazing. And then, I mean, Brian's been doing a good job of patrolling the outfield, whether he was in left early and then now in center. I mean, guy just goes after a ball and will get it.
JT, how do you look at this series in terms of like missed location? You talked about the slider being not where you want it. Is there stuff you can learn from a series like this against the team that's so hot, or is it better to just sort of try to move on and forget about it?
Well, mistake pitches are going to happen. It's just whether or not how many you can limit. We knew coming into this that this team can be crippling with end zone spin, elevated a little bit, and really it's just having to be I guess I don't want to be more aware, but it's just making sure that you know where to miss with what hitters up. With Acuna, or not with Acuna, with Riley, we knew we could go down and away and off, and I was trying to go down and away, and it was just up a little bit, and that was just a mistake pitch. So it's just mislocation by a little, and a little goes a long way when they're able to hit the ball hard.
JT, Oscar came out to talk to you before that second Riley homer. What, like you just said, your first at bat with Riley, tried to go soft away. Obviously came hard and up and in, and he still hit one out. What was the conversation about? And did you just change the game plan in the fly there?
I mean, executed my slider down and away. I mean, I knew in the back of my mind he was coming out with Albies on first. He was going to be swinging first pitch. So I executed there, and then we wanted to go fastball just away top, just at the top of the zone. and stayed true, kind of middle in, and he got to it. And it kind of surprised me that from swinging at a slider down and away that he was able to cover that pitch up and in. So more horizontal miss, but I definitely did get it up and got up where I wanted it, but just missed a little in, and he was able to put it out right center. So we knew he was going to be aggressive with runner on first and just was going after him, making him swing. So he just clipped it.
What positive do you take out of the start? You did have 7 strikeouts. Like, it's not, this wasn't the worst, thing that
No.
ever happened.
And I mean, I'm just once again able to get into the 6th. Yeah, they got me for 7, but worked into the 6th. Like you said, 7 strikeouts. And I mean, I felt like for the most part, I kept him off balance. Some of the home runs, like the one Swanson hit, like I said, he was kind of out in front with his body, but just was able to keep his hands back. So I felt like I moved the ball in and out, kept him off balance. I'm just going to keep taking that into the bullpens and into next starts.
Guys, we'll be back with Jake shortly.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we're good for Jacob.
Jake, just how frustrating must it be to, call pitches, think you guys have a plan, and just go against their lineup and the ball winds up over the fence? I can't imagine that's easy.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously had a great series and hit a lot of balls out of the ballpark. So, it felt like just about every mistake we made went out of the park. So sometimes I guess you just got to tip your cap.
How tough is it to counter this team's aggressiveness in particular when you're game planning? It seems like they're not afraid to swing hard and regularly at the first pitch. And JT was talking about, having to throw off speed and command it even better to some of these hitters early on in the count.
I don't think that this team is any, significantly more aggressive than teams that we faced. I mean, obviously you have Acuna at the top who looks to do damage from the first pitch of the game. So that's obviously not everyone has a guy with 15 homers in their leadoff spot, but I don't know if it's really any different other than the fact that you still have to execute and try not to be predictable. So
Jacob, just to sort of build off that last one, JT said that it's not just specific to the Braves here. You guys have sort of developed a bit of a reputation as a team that can be ambushed in the first inning, and we're seeing it now with a lot of the starters have high first inning ERAs. You mentioned not being as predictable. What sort of has to go into that to sort of stop that?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel like we have a good game plan going in to each and every game, and I don't really have an explanation for the first inning struggles in general. I felt like it was more prevalent early on in the season, especially, and then kind of subsided previous to this series, at least to the degree that it was at. I don't have any numbers to back me up on that, but I don't have an explanation. I don't have if I had a solution, then I would have tried to implement it by now, but I don't have the answer.
Jake, how hard has it been to deal with the injuries that you guys have had at the starting pitchers? Because you've lost now Cole and now Cahill going on the IL. and the three guys that have made all their starts, Brubaker, Keller, and you're starting to see it take a toll on them a little bit. How much are you, seeing that be a difficult thing for the pitching staff to try to stay healthy and then sustain while the ones who are?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see that trend around the league. I mean, I don't think it's only us. I think there's just tons of injuries going on around the league right now. And, to the guys that have made all their starts, I mean, they're battling and they're working really hard to be sharp every time out there. But, nobody's going to feel their best every outing or every game, position player wise or pitcher wise. And injuries have certainly hurt us, not only in the rotation, but position player wise too. And but like I said, it's going on around the league. So it's just something you gotta try to get through, and hopefully we can get those guys back soon.
When you got guys coming up making spot starts, whether it's Yohei or Ponce or somebody else, what kind of advice do you give to them, knowing that they may only be here for one start and be going back and forth a little bit? Maybe what kind of advice did you share with Ponce last year or Yohei this year?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be kind of a raw deal for those guys. But any experience that they can get up here is invaluable. And yeah, Horae's done a great job for us so far this year, and Ponce did a great job for us last year. So I think for those young guys, you just try to control their emotions as much as you can. And to their credit, I think both of those guys have done and did an outstanding job for us. So since they're doing well, I'll probably just leave them alone and try not to mess them up too much.
Jake, what have you seen going on with your team's offense lately? I know you guys have kind of hit a skid with scoring runs, but anything in the approach or getting over aggressive? Just what do you see happening there?
I think we've faced some really good arms. And I don't think guys are really doing anything too differently. I think it's just baseball, honestly. It's you go through good spurts and you go through bad spurts. Try to minimize the bad spurts as much as possible, but obviously we scored one run, three games in a row. It's hard to win ball games when you only score one run, especially against a team like the Braves. So hopefully we can get some rest on this off day, and guys will come back Tuesday refreshed and ready to go.
Jacob, how's your quad? It's quad, right?
Yeah, it's a lot better. It's still sore, but nothing crazy or anything. So I might lose a step out there, but hopefully you guys don't notice.
There's plenty to spare. Don't worry.
Good.
All right, thanks, guys.
Later.
Thanks, Jake.